subject that is really important that you find it all over the place.
Faith. Faith.
Faith is very good, yeah. That's very good. I'm going to read a verse. It's in chapter 6, verse 7.
Wait.
Chapter 6, verse 7. It says, land that brings and the rain often falls on it, and that produces a crop useful to those who from his farm receive the blessings of God. Verse 8. The land that produces thorns and bristles is worthless and is in danger of being cursed in the end and it will be burned. Where do you, that is a subject that I would like to discuss tonight before we go into, because otherwise we don't find what this is about. What is expected of you as a Christian? David seems low. Okay? What is expected of you?
Become a servant.
Okay? What about you? What do you think is expected of you?
Expected of me. I think servant.
Okay. How about you?
Bear fruit.
There you go. See, this principle that I just read is the same principle that you find in John 15. It is the same principle that you find in Galatians. It's the same thing that you find all over the Bible in the New Testament. As you go to the Old Testament, you find directions as to how you plant the fields, when to pick up the food and when not to pick up the food, for direct purposes, and to follow directions as to how to be blessed and to be productive. In verse 12, it says, in fact, though by this time you ought to be teachers. You need someone to teach you. To teach you the elementary truths of God, word all over again. You need milk, no solid food. Alright? Now, I have learned in the church with the years the misconception that most people have that this is going to church. And some learn some verses and do certain things. But what I have found out is that most of the people that I have encountered, they expect to be blessed. All of us expect to be blessed. All of us expect not to have any problems. And then the other part is this, that when we get problems, we start blaming Satan. Without taking a look of our field, we are taking a look at what kind of product we are getting from the reign of God in our hearts. It is time for us, let me tell you why I'm saying this. I have a problem in the small congregation that I have. Right now I've got close to 50 people go together until Thursday, Sunday. And that group is already quite a bit of problems that you have to minister, and I don't have anybody to minister with. Because all the people that are coming there, they just expect to receive. And then other people expect perfection from the rest. And it doesn't work that way. That's why this book is so important. What the book of Hebrews is trying to tell you is that you have to be complete. You have to mature. And you have to keep food amazing how weeds take over the yard with no time at all. It is incredible how here in the valley, and this is what I live here in some valley, if you dig a little bit, this much, you dig this much, if you have this much of dirt, and the rest is sand, stone, little rocks. So you have to dig and throw away the sand and bring real dirt, in order to plant it. Then my point is, I hope that this Bible Institute creating you, especially the ones, how many of you want to graduate? You don't graduate, you don't graduate. To realize, how serious this is, serious, that's not what I'm saying, it is to realize that the church really needs mature people. It is an incredible need that is in the church today. I had a call from him today to give me a suggestion that I'm going to put together to some people. And I thought it was, after I had the phone with him, I said, oh my God, that's a good idea. We have to learn to help each other. We have to learn to have conversations among ourselves in such a way without putting our own condemnation and expectations from one another. We all go through problems, and we need to have somebody, friends, brothers, that understand the Bible in such a way that there is no doubt about it. Sometimes we make mistakes. No doubt about it. Everybody does. And there will be people that we come and say to Fabiano or today, my friend here, say, look, I made a mistake, and then I tell you the mistake, and tell me to pray with you, or whatever, to find consolation among ourselves, to do that,
Yeah, that's a big lack because we're so busy that we go to work, we go home, we do this and do that, and then Sunday comes around and we see each other, and that's it.
We come Sunday here and we say, hello, how you doing? I'm okay, bless the Lord, that. I believe you, that see, I'm an old man, and I know that it's not that, it's not like that. Life is not like that.
It's not like perfect.
It's
We know each other.
yeah, and it's not to come to know each other, to just to point fingers or anything like that. It's to have a relationship. Let me tell you one thing that I learned. In my desk, I got approximately about 500 phone numbers from friends of mine. They are for the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I don't go to meetings anymore because I'm very involved with the church. So I get at least 3 or 4 calls a week. People say, where are you? Are you okay? That type of thing, People concerned about me. And then I call people and et cetera, et cetera. But my point is this, that was a requirement for the group that I used to go to. You have to put your phone number, not a private phone number. You can have a private phone number, that group. And you have to go around with a little notebook asking for phone numbers. And then later the groups start editing their own list of phone numbers, which I believe is very good. If anybody was going to move, you didn't have to do it. The only thing you had to do was to rent a truck, because at least 20, 40 guys would show up with their phone and move you out. And the only thing you had to do was the coffee and the pizza. And that was it. Then we had a good time at the end of the day. My point is this, the book teaches something that is very important to them to eliminate by the knowledge and the maturity in the word. That is, that we are so self-centered. We are very self-centered. It is incredible, how we are so concerned about ourselves. And, I'm a brother's keeper. Yes, you are. Yeah. So, any comments?
I was just sitting here, Pastor, and I've known Juan was out for a long time, and I've talked to you guys lots and lots of men, and I never much thought about it. But I talked to you last week. I saw this, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what book it was in, it was on the radio. And it says, I want to be bothered. And that's, for other people that are sitting in this room. I want to be one of those people. I want to be bothered. If you've got something to say at midnight, my phone is always on. You all have my number. Everybody here's got my number. That's really all I can say about this. If we're not going to be community, I don't think none of us in here will ever have a successful church in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. The more that I am confronted, the more that you confront me, the more that other people talk to me about community and what it means and how we are. See, help me with this. Do you think we're individual trees, or are we more like a group of vines, or what kind of a planting are we? I want to be able to reach and touch my brothers and sisters.
No, we are the part of the vine, and the vine is so true. It is so, it is a very, and it runs, and it's always looking for something to rest. Because the run, they have to find out, because the leaves of the vine don't find something to grab, they cannot hold the fruit.
Too heavy.
So
They'll bust.
yeah, that's why they have it. It's a beautiful thing to see how I have a vine in my house, but I've got it. I see it every year. It goes dry and then grows in spring immediately. No matter 3-4 days, start really growing. But my thing is this, do you know why, besides that the leprosy was contagious, and it is contagious, they were put away, they were despised. And we all know in the Bible, leprosy is a type of sin. That's what it represents, sin. Jesus never despised anybody. Jesus doesn't really say, no, your type of sin is not. He doesn't classify that. He came to do things in such a way that I hope they all need to learn to study the Bible. And let me give you just one moment, and then we go to this. I was preparing the devotion of tomorrow night. I was doing that today, and it came to me that the Lord says, I am the resurrection and the life. Now my question is, there's many people that haven't resurrected in the church. Not only that, even if you are dead, He's going to resurrect you. And the book of John, when He comes and says, said to Lazarus, come forward. He's already been buried. He's been buried for 3 days, so, I think you sleep already. And he says, come forward. Did the Lord ever tell you to come forward, sister? Were you dead in your sins and your trespasses? Yeah.
And stinky.
And sticky. Big time. Yeah. I think there's many people in the church, they're still in the tomb.
Oh, yeah.
It's real stinky, by the way.
No, not only that, they don't want to come forward. They don't understand the check Christ is the resurrection and the life.
Well, that's good.
Or as he said to the Pharisees, they told that they look very nice on the outside,
Ah,
but
there you go.
inside is full of dead bones and yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that Jesus actually walked up to the lepers and touched them. I mean, if we know that somebody has something that's contagious, I mean, we run. For Jesus, he wants to
Oh,
say.
sin is sleep. Sin
Wait
is
a minute.
Well, I mean,
Just a cut.
no, I know.
No.
What's that?
There is internal sin. Things that, with my mouth, that I can get off on you. I can talk about my Christianity till the cows come home, and then I start talking about this person, that person, whatnot. And I start gossiping and doing all that manure that is just as deadly or deadlier than anything that you can get disease-wise.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what we're called to do. The church is full, this particular church is full of a bunch of busybodies, talky, blabby, bleh. And if there's going to be change in that particular vine, you're going to have to get close enough to trim on it. And politely, kindly say to some people, this isn't it.
That's why this book of the Hebrews is trying to exhort you to become mature. To become mature because as we're going to get to chapter 11, we all have read the book. You see that he gives a list of chapter 10, chapter 11, a list of testimonies of people that have gone through a lot of things that they went through in faith. They all were tested, all of them were tested, and they all were victorious by faith. God is the one that gives the power. But you have to learn, and the exhortation in chapter 6 is, okay, now let's stop to go to the first 30 minutes of the word. Let's go on into more. Not that those things are bad, because they're fundamental, as we're going to read tonight. But you have to give solid food to the baby eventually, in order for you to give that baby the ability to develop the digestive system. Otherwise, it would be baby like that. Now, I don't know if you saw the news today. Did you see the news? This baby was born way before time, and he was not developed. And he was born, and everybody thought that he was going to die. The doctors made a gadget that represents the womb of the mother, and the baby finally was able to survive the first month. But if you see his stomach, even today that is a year old, his stomach is like this, and it's not formed with the skin that should be. You can see all the veins and everything. It doesn't have the yeah. And they're gonna have to reconstruct this baby eventually, you know, and be able to do some plastic surgery, etc. Because in order for you to be able to function better. My point is this, when you're in the womb, time develop you to the proper time to be born. And then you have to be fed by, you're going to be fed by your mother. And then you cannot stop to grow physically, you're going to grow. It all depends on the care that you're going to get. Because babies are very delicate, as we all know. The kind of person you're going to be when you become older. If you don't take care of it, you are a little baby, little boy, or little girl, you won't be able to grow in a natural way. Abuse, not only in the part of the growth, the stability of the parents is paramount in the life of the if you grow in a home where it's all conflict and screaming and violence and all that, since you're a little boy, that's all you're going to learn. But if you like it or not, you're going to be affected. So, and then you come with all those bad things that happened to you when you were growing, and then you come to Jesus. Alright? You're going to be, so to speak, in the womb of the word for a little while. And then you're going to be born. And God can correct everything that they did to you. Because otherwise, if we don't understand that you are a new creation, then you might as well go home. It's a new creation. It's like you expect, for example, how old is the oldest one of yours?
Getting 5.
Huh?
I mean, yeah, getting 6.
6 years old?
5.
For your wife. For your wife. Okay, and 5 years old is different than a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old is really a handful. You know. When you get to be 5, especially the girls, they start becoming different. And they have a lot of expectations from you. They didn't start a lot of expectations from you. When you become a teenager, they become a pain in the neck. You know that. And then you really going to have to establish a set of values in that girl. And then she, I don't care. I really don't. I say this with respect. They all don't like. They don't like because they go to school like that. And you see their old friends and everything. And the way you like them or not, that's their world. And they start reading things from the world. Yeah. And you really have to be applying the principles that you learn in the Word of God to make this little beautiful thing that you have in the house, to make that person realize what is expected from you. Well, the same thing with the church. If you come today to the church, I'm going to be patient with you and I'm going to be nursing you, but eventually I'm going to ask you to become responsible. I cannot baby you at the end of the days. So that's what this book is about. Expectations.
The children have to see it.
Yeah. Expectations, you know. So let's go to page 133, where it says the challenging interlude. You see that there? Oh, no, wait a minute. No, I'm getting ahead of myself.
What page is that
On this one.
I'm on page now, I'm in chapter 5, of the book of Hebrews, verse 8, which is in page 130.
Okay. How far? What part of
It's
it?
way at the bottom of the page.
Where it says 8?
Yeah, we used to say this.
Does that work? Minutes?
Where is it? I don't know. You got me this book.
How are you? Chapter, it says, this is a very important verse. Chapter 5, verse 8, it says, although he was a son, he learned obedience from the things which he suffered. Okay, again, although he was a son, he became, although he was a son, he learned obedience from the things which he had suffered. And then in verse 9, it says, and having made perfect. That word perfect means having matured. That's what it means. Having matured. He became to all those who obey him the source of eternal salvation. Do you know what he's talking about there? He's talking about Jesus, of course. And he said that because all that he suffered, he became, because he was obedient and all the things that he suffered, he became mature as a human being. This is one thing that I wanted to stress tonight, that Jesus was exactly like you. He felt everything that you are feeling in your life, this life, as a human being, in order for us to become the Lamb of God. Okay? Although he knew what he was, that's what you find, as a parenthesis, that's what you find in Colossians 3, starting verse 12, and in Philippians 2. He said that the being, that he knew what he was, he divested himself of what he was to become just like us, and suffer just like us, and go through all the things just like us. All right? That's a very theological point that it has tremendous importance for us to understand. That God is not asking you, through Jesus Christ, to do something that he didn't go through. You follow what I mean? All right. Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be considered cheating. I mean, somebody
Yeah.
at a high standard comes with privileges.
Right.
Right. And always says, I'm going to show you the way I'm going to live your way, and I'm going to show you that it is
Right. Okay, so why did somebody start reading this where it says this reminiscence? Page 130.
This reminiscence from the earthly experience of Jesus, which is an essential contribution to his qualifications as a great high priest, leads the writer to reflect on the paradox of his suffering. It would not be entirely unintelligible that sons usually learn obedience by what they suffer, i.e. at the hands of their earthly fathers. But with Christ, it is very different. This sonship was perfect and therefore raises the problem why he needed to learn obedience at all. Here we are faced with the mystery of the nature of Christ. In considering the divine Son, it may be difficult to attach any meaning to the learning process, he learned obedience, but in thinking of the Son as perfect man, it becomes at once intelligible.
Yeah, this is what is called intelligence. You heard me say this before. This is what the principle of the kenosis of Christ. Open there in the Bible, chapter 2 of the book of Ephesians.
there is any consolation in Christ, any comfort of love, any fellowships of the Spirit, any affection and mercy, fulfill my joy by being like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. Verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus.
Yeah, here's where it starts. Right?
Who being in the form of God, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of the bondservant, and coming in the likeness of men. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. Therefore, God also has highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every knee, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, and those in heaven, and of those on earth, and of those under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Jesus is Lord, to the glory of God the Father.
It's an incredible chapter that, then you hear Paul saying, do the things that I do, no, that's not what it says. Imitate me as I imitate Christ.
Yes.
It is an incredible statement, because that's, you really have to be pretty sure of where you are to say that. But this is the goal of the book of Hebrews. For you to understand not only the humanity of Christ, and then in the next chapter, you're going to see him talking about the order of Melchizedek. It's going to really bring you to another level. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
When Luke says that Jesus advanced in learning, 252, he means that by a progressive process, he showed by his obedience to the Father's will a continuous making of God's will his own, reaching its climax in his approach to death. The cry of acceptance in the Garden of Gethsemane was the concluding evidence of the Son's obedience to the Father. No one will deny that there is deep misery here, but the fact of it makes our high priest's understanding of us unquestionably more real.
Let's stop right there. I'm going to ask you a question, so we're beginning to wake up in the realizations. Fabiano, have you walked Calvary? Got you by surprise, huh? Have you walked Calvary?
Calvary, I'm sorry.
Well, it is very difficult.
No,
Well,
I know, listen, I'm not making fun of anybody. The thing is that I was meditating in this class yesterday.
If I take a type of walking, carrying the cross, I will tell you, how we sober to understand that process, but there's many things that I have to take like calories, but not like something very special for that.
Well, see, Sunday night I was preaching here, and I asked the same question to the Pope. I said, I wanted to walk Calvary for me to realize what Christ did for me. That was the last mile. That was the last mile. Carrying the cross after being abused by his guards, really. But I don't ways to make sure, he was there. However, he fought 3 times. He got up. And he went out the hill. He allowed them to crucify him. I'm going to repeat that again. He allowed them to crucify him. A total example of denial. A total example of understanding what it was required to do the will of God. And I believe, Saturday when I was preparing that, I started crying in my office because the fact that we are so careless on that. Well, I should say I'm so careless. For lack of realization of what God did for me to Christ, my Lord. We get involved in this religious traditional thing. The week of Easter, we celebrate it. But we really don't sit down by ourselves and to realize that I have to realize that for me to be crucified is not an act, it's a process. I want to repeat that again. It's a process. I have to bring my body voluntarily and walk with Him in Calvary. Because sometimes carrying my cross, I fail. And sometimes I don't feel that I have the strength to get up again. I don't know if that happened to you in Christ, Christian life, person Christ. You get hit by things that you say, can do it. And with that, with the power of the Holy Spirit, you begin to realize what Paul is saying, I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me.
And he said also,
Pardon me?
he said also that he will be here to leave this, the last suffering of Christ that the Savior was.
Yes. Yeah, but the thing is, you see, let me say this, so we begin to understand in a more subtle way. Even in my crucifixion, I need the help of Christ. Even in my crucifixion, I need His help, because my body doesn't want to do it. My body doesn't have the strength to do it. My heart doesn't have what is required. So that's why He sent the Holy Spirit for me to be able to do it. I can do all things through Christ. I cannot die without the help of the Holy Spirit. See, we only think in life and in victory. But we have to die in order to have victory.
I mean, if we really stop and think how much pressure was he going through at that point? At that point, I mean, if he really wanted to act on his power, he would have just, and I told myself in that position, what do I do when I'm really in pressure? And what do? My reaction is to fight back or to give up. But then, like we just read, it says to have the mind of Christ.
The Bible, David, the Bible has this principle all over the place. It has it in the first chapter in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 11. It's the process of the seed. It's the process of a tree that is going to be fruit according to the seed that it's got. That's what it says in that verse. Then you find a lot of teachings about how you're supposed to do the things in the field. You find in the Bible a lot of teachings about how to plant, how to pick up the fruit, what to do with the fruit. cannot give fruit unless you have died. That's a reason. See, it is impossible, okay, I want to tell you.
You have to be, don't you have to be resurrected
Yeah.
in order to be crucified?
No, no. You have to.
Wait a minute.
No. See, that's a very good question. This is a very good question. The process that chapter 6 of the book of Romans is talking about is the fact that you have to realize that you don't come to Christ alive in the sense of with your human desire. By the time that you come to Christ, you are defeated. I don't know about anybody. That's why people that grow in the church, and I was reading your homework, people that grow in the church like your daughters are going to grow in the church. When you grew in the church. It is more difficult for people like them, or like you, and for you, and it's going to be for your daughters, because they have a sense of well-being just because they grew within the church, without realizing that you have to go through the process of Calvary too. Because, your homework is very good in the sense of what happened to you. And I don't know if I am liberty to discuss it. But, he was saying in the homework that he grew up going to church since he was a little kid. But then he grew up as a man and started earning some money and discovered the world, discovered the girls, and discovered, the dance. And hey, what am I doing? Going there all the time, And eventually, each one of us has to walk Calvary to go to be crucified.
Oh, I've been on that.
Yeah.
I've been on that cross.
Now that you are with the suffering and the frustrations of this world, all the plans that you had, all the illusions that you had, all the what people was expecting of you, because they was the whole world. And then all of a sudden you feel that, I don't know, this is what happened to me, that's what you say only like me. You feel like a failure. You feel, what have I done? Especially if you are old like me, because I came to the Lord not at all. And you feel like
I cried night after night. I'd walk around and I'd go, who am I going to be? I had no clue. I've been, this alcoholic and I was good at it. When that was gone, now what am I going to do with reality and just a whole lot of things?
you run out of gasoline and your car stops and you got a flat tire. We have to be very careful, let me say to you, the reason that I talk the way I do is because of this. We're going to find in the churches people that are totally different. I mean, totally different. They practice some things, excuse me the expression, you feel like vomiting when you see that. And we as humans have the tendency to say, well, that you push them aside. You don't want to deal with that. But as a minister, you cannot afford to do that. See, he touched the devils. He was different. That's why he says, learn from him. And we have to learn that from him, Now, he touched the leper when he was just like you and I, a human being. Have you ever thought of that? He's the Son of God. Yeah, I want you to understand. He was a human being. And he was giving us the example as a human being what we should be like. We should is a very important principle that we have to learn here in this chapter because he is, as we just read in chapter verse 8, 9, he learned obedience for all the things that he suffered in order to fulfill what he was supposed to become. And we have to be obedient. And we have to suffer. How do you suffer? How do you suffer, Fabiano? I got you.
Well,
Just give me an example. Just one example.
Suffering is to accomplish the lacking of something.
All right, that's good. That's good. How do you suffer?
and I guess like Paul, I can define suffering when sometimes I still do the thing that I'm not supposed to do. And I'm not doing what I'm supposed or God's want me to do.
And you suffer because you find that you cannot deny yourself.
You hit the wall.
You find yourself that you don't want to, it's like Paul said in chapter 7, right? Romans. This thing I don't want to do, and I end up doing it. This one I want to do it. The good thing, and I cannot do it. And then you find the paradox of you know. The problem is in your heart. That's why you have to go to Calvary. To see. And now to see. Yeah.
Yeah, to reach the very last part of Acts when Paul said, I'm now willing to die for the Lord Jesus Christ, to reach that point.
Yeah, it's a total conviction, right? Yeah.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a long run.
Right. Yes.
There are certain parallels here with Philippians 2:6, which also stresses the obedience of Christ in the form of a servant. In both passages, the suffering servant of Isaiah may be in mind. No less impressive is the reputation of the idea of a perfect process being applied to Christ, as in chapter 2, verse 10. As in the former case, there is a close link between perfection and suffering. It is through a path of suffering that perfection is achieved. In the present case, it is obedience which is specially linked with perfection, reminding us that the sequence of thought in Philippians chapter 2, 8, 9.
Yeah. Let me read to you what it says in Hebrews 2:10. For it was fitting for him for whom are all things and to who are all things, in bringing many souls to glory to perfect the author of their salvation through suffering. See, this word suffering is very important in this book. And the reason is why. If you're beginning to understand the book, why is that he's implying that about suffering? Why?
There's no way out. That's the only way you're going to learn.
Yeah, that's true. But why is it the way that he's writing the book, to whom he's writing the book, is because they don't want to suffer. See, they've been persecuted.
Right.
They've been persecuted, and they don't want to not. I mean, they wanted to have the
Come back on the race.
right. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer.
It's still the same today, though.
Yeah, of course, it's the same today.
The prosperity, whatever you want to call
We
it.
get the prize or we go back.
Yeah.
We're no in between.
There is, and there's no pain. There's no pain to the gain. There's no trail. It's blab it and grab it. You know.
You can fix that here in this country. You don't have to do that. If you do that, it's going to be dead. You know, because it's not at all. Culture is
It's
totally.
not like everything is like
Go ahead, brother.
Of no human high priest could it be said that he was made perfect. This expression must not be understood to suggest that there was a time when he was not perfect. In the course of his human life, the perfection which Jesus possessed was put to the test. That perfection remained unsullied through all that he suffered. as Hughes remarks, his suffering both tested and victoriously endured, attested his perfection, free from failure and defeat. The emphasis here is on the perfection, which is an ever-present reality. It should also be noted that the verb is frequently used in the Septuagint of the consecration of the high priest to his office, an idea which has some relevance to the theme of this epistle.
Okay, do you understand that, right? You have to allow yourself to be perfect.
What you talking about?
No.
He has perfect.
Pardon?
Yeah.
By imputation.
I'm sorry.
He
He has made us perfect.
has perfect by imputation.
By what?
So, imputation.
Yeah,
So,
Impartation. Impartation?
imputation.
yeah, okay, I understand what you said. But let me ask you one thing, Fabian, are you perfect?
The process that we receive by faith,
That's another question.
as I believe that He made me perfect, but the process that I have to render to the Lord is my test to perfection.
How do you obtain that?
Once there is many subjects I have.
See, because I'm very careful with this. The Word of God, I go by what the Word of God is not my opinion, okay, because then I have a lot of trouble. I go by what the Word of God tells me. The Word of God tells me this. God will never give me more than what I can get. That's the principle. But then I have to realize to the Bible, God, this is amazing because of see, it says the Word of God, if Mark stay in my word, he shall find the truth about Mark.
Right. And truth will set you free.
And then he not only give you the reality of what he is, who you are, he give you the tools to correct that you already found. You see?
Yeah.
Now, no, don't look at him. I did it with you. What are the tools?
Well, I think the closest being legal.
Yeah, that's a rule. That's not a tool.
I mean, rules and tools.
How about this one? Her.
Prayer is going to is a tool. It's a tool.
The word of God is a tool.
Oh, alright, being served up to.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that I know that I cannot use the tool without His power. It is like a, yeah, well, it's like when you're not accustomed to work with tools, and they give you, I remember, as I was when I came to the United States, I never had a callus in my hands. I was always working in the office, etc. And I went to this shop, and there is this bunch of guys, you know, and they look at me, you know, and the guy said, okay, what we do here is tables like this. That's what they do there. This is fiberglass. It says that they explain the whole process, you know, they put some wood together, you know, they nail it together, and then they put it in a mold, and they, with liquid fiberglass, they put it, and then they put it in an oven. After that, they pull it out of the oven, they let it get cold. Then they bring it down, and they give you this big sand. I mean, a big one. And then this American guy, Tom, he would look at me and he said, "Gary, you don't want this one." So, you know, when you're in need a job, you say, "Oh yeah, sure." He said, "Okay, let me show you how you do it." And he everything. And he started going like that. And he said, okay, try it. Yeah, I started the thing in 2 minutes. Not only that, then at night when I got home, the fiberglass was inside of me. Yeah, I felt like, don't touch me. Because it gets in you. Yeah. And it's glass. That's what it is. It's glass. Big.
Yeah.
And, but then later, not only you dress better, but you somehow your body becomes accustomed to it. And then later it was.
Stand alone.
Oh yeah. But the thing is that I have to learn. The first thing that he told us is, you made a mistake that everybody makes. You tried to dominate the motor. No, you go along with it. This is because it's too strong for you. I mean, then if you try to hold it, you make a hole in the table. But anyway, and God gives me a tool that empowers me to do everything that He asks me. See, here again, you take the whole Bible. That's why it's so important to understand the whole Bible as a whole, especially when you teach. You shall receive power when the Holy Spirit come upon you. You have everything that you need to go to Calvary. You have everything you need to crucify yourself. The only thing that you need is the disposition of your heart. That's what Paul says. After he explains all the theology of Christ and the seed and the faith in chapter 4 of Romans, and the whole thing he put it together in chapter 12 says, therefore, I beg of you by the mercies of God to forsake your bodies and living sacrifices. Because after you learn what Christ is, then you have to come and present your body to His sacrifice. He will never push you to go to Calvary. You have to go voluntarily.
Where did this teaching that when you receive the Holy Spirit you become complete, kind of like, boom? Where did that come? Where did that
I
come
don't know. Because I didn't find it anywhere in the Bible. We are complete in Christ, don't misunderstand me. But I wanted to know somebody to totally realize that and to totally effectively put that in.
You have to going first.
Yeah. All right. Okay, go ahead, brother.
The perfection of Christ is seen as the basis of our salvation. Indeed, He became the source of eternal salvation. The becoming refers to the effecting of salvation, and for this reason is expressed as a past tense. Historically, it appears to refer to that point of time when Jesus assumed the office of high priest. The word translated source, occurs only here in the New Testament and means cause. It can refer to a good or a bad cause, but here it is wholly good and is well rendered source.
Yeah, that's the source of our salvation. That's the source of everything. Being incapacitated to become a complete high priest for eternity. See, let me give you an example. We say, and now He is sitting to the right hand of the Father, interceding for us. Why is He doing that now? Because He's a high priest. He is for eternity our high priest. We have to begin to visualize these things in a more profound way, more mature, for us to minister biggest problem that you're gonna find in people is they now,
Americans.
you understand what I'm saying about that?
Yeah,
The problem of the now.
the McDonald's mentality. I
Yeah.
want it now, I want it hot, and I want it yet.
See, you don't want it, how would you want a solution now, and I don't want it, then you tell me later you want to be, no, now. And nothing in Christianity is like, nothing. It's a process, always. Always is a process. Always. You're gonna find that out. And unfortunately, it's the truth. That's what you suffer. You got pain for something? Yes. Give me a shadow morphine so I don't feel it anymore. Spiritual morphine. No. It's no such thing.
Or marijuana, or
Marijuana, whatever.
cocaine, or whatever it may be.
All right? Okay. We're going to leave it there. When am I missing you today?
Joanne and
And John is sick.
I talked to Ben, I thought they were, they don't.
they were here yesterday.
They already went through Hebrews.
Yeah, they've already gone through Hebrews, so they'll be here for leadership. Yeah, they will. I'm pretty, Ben said he was coming.
All right. I'll see you in a little while. We're going to go and have dinner. Then go back. All right.
Tomorrow you're going tomorrow.
Yeah, if you're going down, I said Sunday.
How are you?
He said it's at least no, but I'm
For
really
next Sunday.
tomorrow.
I guess I got
You're coming every Wednesday.
Well, I'm kind of staying home.
You're pretty busy.
So I gotta work and then I can
Either my yours is the blueberry banana and the
come.
other one is apple.
No.
The,
Do you make that?
yeah, banana apple.
Oh, I didn't know that. Let's have one of each. I should know. I think
That's the one that, no, actually I didn't have that here, but I did it in the house and one likes it. Because he doesn't like the zucchini. So what I
I
did,
don't either. It's not moist enough. I like the taste. Now, I like the flavor very much.
yeah, but you
It's
know
not
what?
quite moist enough.
The zucchini really, I was doing experiment. Even I went out to buy some zucchini, one of the best baker in Pasadena. That's why I was about to learn zucchini. Their zucchini is not, because when you said bread, the mixture has to be bread. It's not moist. But you know what? My banana, you cannot really ignore banana because no matter what you do, banana alone is really, that makes moist
Yeah,
the
you're
thing.
right. You're right. The
You
difference between the constitution
Correct.
of zucchini is different.
What is that? Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was doing those kind of experiment, you know. So zucchini, no matter how I mix with the banana, zucchini is stronger than the banana, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
So
I
that's
didn't know.
why when I went to these bakers in Pasadena, they have a very good banana zucchini bread. Because you say zucchini bread. When you say zucchini bread, it's a bread. I mean, it
I
cannot be
understand.
moist. You know, it cannot be moist. But if you do like banana, no matter why you say it's a banana bread, you cannot deny because there's the banana. Banana makes moist the thing. Yeah. That's what I just observed. So since one doesn't like the zucchini, so what I did, I did the banana and then I put some apples.
Actually,
So
it's good, but
I did it one time in the house. So I would
$10?
no tomorrow.
Well, it's
Getting cold, right?
Raishi,
Oh.
10?
Yeah.
Ayun,
You want to
parang,
now?
I didn't.
I was thinking, I have,
Why not?
see,
that was
Thank
hard
you.
one.
I didn't memorize that, bro. Because I can't.
I don't think
I think you might.
He was
And,
on the day.
This one, did you blue?
Shit, bye.
I